Hello and welcome to day 5. Got a little bit set up. Some of the things I learned from day 4 of creating a spec folder, but other than that, ready to get going and see what happens for day 5. And with that, let's get started. Day 5, hydrothermal venture. You come across a field of hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. These vents constantly produce large, opaque clouds, so it would be best to avoid them if possible. They tend to form in lines. The submarine helpfully produces a list of nearby lines of vents, your puzzle input, for you to review. For example, 0959. Large, opaque clouds. I'm not sure what these are supposed to mean yet. Each line of vents is given as a line segment in the form x1, y1, x2, y2, where x1, y1 are the coordinates of one end of the line segment, and x2, y2 are the coordinates of the other end. Okay, so they're kind of like, I see. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, I went through the Pragmatic Programmer's book on Ray Tracer. Looks like some of those things that I built there. I wonder if I'll remember any of the work I did or need to do it. Okay, so these line segments include points at both ends. In other words, an entry like 1, 1, 1, 3 covers points 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. An entry like 9, 7 to 7, 7. Yeah, okay. For now, only consider horizontal and vertical lines. Lines where either x1 equals x2 or y1 equals y2. Okay, only consider horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, so the horizontal and vertical lines from the above list would produce the following diagram. In this diagram, the top left corner is 0, 0, the bottom right corner is 9, 9. Each position is shown as the number of lines which cover that point or dot. Okay. If no line covers that point, or dot if no line covers that point. The top left pair of ones, for example, comes from 2, 2 to 2, 1. The very bottom row is formed by the overlapping lines 09 to 5, 9 and 09 to 2, 9. To avoid the most dangerous areas, you need to determine the number of points where at least 2 lines overlap. Okay, so that's where a bunch of hydrothermal vents overlap. Got it. In the above example, this is somewhere in the diagram where this is anywhere in the diagram with a 2 or larger, a total of 5 points. The number of points where at least 2 lines overlap. So we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Consider only horizontal and vertical lines. At how many points do at least 2 lines overlap? Okay. So it looks like we've got 2 things here. So we've got let's say diagram. What do we call this? Each position. Okay, so we've got a vent field. And then we've got a vent field display. Let's see what else. And then we've also got lines that have a start and an end. And we have, so let's see, it seems like I want a vent field. I want a method on a vent field to, let's see, what word do we want? So we want to maybe map or lines. I want to map out the lines on the vent field. So horizontal. So for now, only lines were either x1 or x2. In this diagram, the top left corner is 0, 0, and the bottom right corner is 9, 9. Each position is shown. And then it also has a. Okay, so this is going to be very similar to the last problem where I've got I think I'm also going to try doing a hash with XY coordinates. But let's get the puzzle input set up and start going outside in. The stuff that we know we're going to need to do, and let's say problem input, and then can work our way through it. Okay, so we've got test input. Okay, so we've got the test input. We've got a display, and so I would really like to know how tall and wide the diagram is beforehand, but it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to. So, I guess it's kind of going to grow as we add new dots. Well, I guess one thing I can do is figure out max x and max y of the lines and create the diagram from that. So let's start there. Let's start by creating a event map.rb, or not event map, event field. And a new test file, event field spec.rb. Event field spec, require r spec, require relative event field.rb, and describe event field. Okay. So let's see. We also are going to have a line, but I don't know if I need to. It doesn't look like that there's any functionality on the line. There's really just a start x and a end x and a start y and an end y. So really, it's probably best to have a class, but there's not going to be much functionality to test. So it's really just going to be breaking out each of those data points, and then well, I might as well just do it just to be safe for part 2. So event line spec.rb, and actually I can get this one done a lot quicker than the other one, so I might as well just knock it out. And event line.rb. Okay, so require rspec, require relative event line.rb, describe event line, and describe start x, describe start y, describe end x. Actually, I don't need to break those out. I can just do describe maybe let's say parsing form lines, list of nearby lines, events, each line, segment, describe, or let's say context, with segment, and what we want to do is it sets the start and end positions correctly. And we do vent test vent line equals vent line.new. And let's take one of these strings here. So what I'll do is just run through all of the lines in the problem input, initialize new vent lines with them, and then I can get the attributes of those different properties. So expect test vent line dot start x to equal 0. Expect test vent line dot start y to equal 9. Expect test vent line dot end x to equal 5, and expect test vent line dot end y to equal 9. And we can run that, but our spec vent line, right, there's nothing there. Okay, so now vent line def initialize segment. Okay, and so we've got start end. Oops, no, I can't do that. Start pause end pause equals segment dot split, and we're going to split on space dash greater than space, and then we do, let's do adder reader start x start y end x end y, and then we do at start x at start y equals start pause dot split on comma and turn them into integers. And then we do the same thing with the end. And I think everything should be good there. Yep, okay, cool. So now we've got these vent lines that we can interact with and get their start and end positions. Now to do the harder part, vent field. And I think I might actually need to, well, let's see how it happens here. So, I want to be able to test what these are going to output. Well, I guess I don't really need the output. I really just need the quantities right now. So I can just test that yeah, I guess I don't really need to know. I don't need to put the dots. It's only if I need to display it, which I've needed to display stuff in the past years to look at and see a message that's spelled out, but doesn't look like this is going to, oh, I better knock on wood. I think that calling out horizontal and vertical lines, it makes me suspect that it's only going to be it's only going to be that. It might be adding diagonal lines or something, but yeah, so let's say we want to call how many points do at least two lines overlap? Number of points where at least two lines overlap. Okay, so describe total, we have a method called total overlapping points. And that's all we need to figure out for this field. We just need to map a event line to the vent field, we need to place it. It's either a dot, a 1, or 2 or 3 or whatever. And then we need to count how many are 2 or greater. So that seems pretty straightforward. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so let's do a couple context. Let's do that. And so the first context is when no lines have been plotted. Been plotted. That's the word. So we need to plot event line. When there are no overlapping event lines plotted. And we can do a third context here of when the given test input event lines are plotted. And so let's do test vent field equals vent field dot new, and then expect what do you call this? Expect test vent field dot total overlapping points to equal 0. Oops, it is 0. It is also 0. And it is 5. Okay, so now if we do test vent field equals vent field dot new, and then test vent field dot plot vent line dot new. Let's see, what's the one at 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1? Ooh, okay. That's something I'm gonna need to sorry about that. Okay, so we'll do that one, and then the one at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 0, 7. Yeah, there we go. 7, 0, 7, 4. So let's just do test vent. Okay, so we've plotted a couple lines, and then we want expect test vent field, and we actually want the same line to be there, and then we want to do something similar to here, but we want it to, let's say, is correct, and we can plot all of these vent lines, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change that 0 to a 5 because that's what we know. These are there, and then we can just copy these in. I guess by doing it this way, I don't need to muddy up the solution.rb with plotting this test code, which is nice. This is kind of ideal. It's a little bit more annoying to do this by hand, but all right, 2, 2, and 2, 1. Whoops. But if there are issues, and bugs, I'm able to get in there a little bit easier and see where the problem is and make sure I don't break anything else in the process. 6409 34 and oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to set up on here is showing the keystrokes. I guess you kind of saw them there when I was in insert mode. Change inside double quotes. Okay, cool. So we've got all of these. We've got plot. We've got that. Let's see. Let's just run RSpec. Okay. Dynamize vent field. And when we initialize, we really just have that field equals that. Actually, probably it doesn't seem like we need a dot yet, so I can leave that there, and then we just need def plot, or actually, pretty sure that's the way to do that. Oops. Yeah, okay. So that's just going to give us a dot for any of those other ones, but it doesn't seem like we're going to need to do anything to it except for check if the dot is there and turn it into a 1. Probably actually be easier if it were 0, but they call out a dot in the problem, so we'll go with that until we and see if we run into any issues. Plot vent line, and then we want def total overlapping points, and that one is really just going to be at field.values.select value greater than or equal to 2.count. And at least one of these, actually 2 of the tests should pass and one of them should fail, right? Yes. Okay, so we only got the 5, expected 5 got 0, test failing, which is expected. Okay, cool. Now we need to figure out how we're going to fill in this plot method. Okay, so the plot method is we take a vent line, we do vent line dot start x to vent line dot start y, start end x dot each do x, and then vent line dot start y to vent line dot end y dot each do y at, and then we do let's see, at field sub x sub x sub y equals actually it might be easier if I just do field value equals that, and then at field x y equals field value equal to dot. If it's equal to dot, it equals 1. Otherwise, we do field value plus 1. And I think that should do it. Let's see what the tests say. No, we got 8. Huh, how did we do that? Now it would be useful if I had the had the view. Each line event is given a line segment x1, y1, x2, y2, where one of the coordinates of one end of the line segment next to these line segments include the points at both ends. In other words, well, let's find out which ones they are. And so if we do add a reader field, we can inspect it in the test, require pry, and let's see what this says. Okay, rspec and test event field dot field. I wonder if I'm running it twice. Did I typo something here? 09. Oh, that's why. Or not. Event line start x, end x. Well, let's do this. Let's run that again. Okay, so now we've got test event field dot field. And so we've got ones, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Okay, so that's that first line. And if we do, I think it's next. Nope, step. Damn. Okay. Used to be able to step. There must be another pry plugin or library for debugging and stepping through, but let's see here. So let's do the next one. And let's see what the field says. That's odd. It didn't do the next line. Test event field dot plot 80208 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I doing wrong here? Field dot total for living points 0. Didn't change anything there. That's odd. Blanking on what I'm doing wrong. So let's get out of here and see what happens if we, let's see if it's a pry issue or it's an issue with the code. Test event field. Same, okay. So for some reason it's not plotting that line.new 8008 0 to 8 and 8 to 0. Oh wait, that's not right, is it? For now, only consider horizontal and vertical lines where either x1 equals x2 or y1 equals y2. Okay, so that's part of the reason I need to only do those lines. So I'm not actually figuring out, but it should still plot, although we should be not plotting those numbers. So let's do test event field sub 8 0. So it should do shouldn't be a dot. Definitely got a bug there then. Oh, it probably doesn't go both ways, huh? That's what it is. Well, that's one of the issues we're gonna need to solve. I don't know. Well, so two things. One, we need to return unless ventline.start x is equal to ventline.start y, or end x, or ventline.start y is equal to ventline.end y. So just don't do anything there. And then, well, let's see if that changes the tests here. Let's get rid of this pry. Cool. Or still, so now too little. But what we can do is go into the vent field spec and let's change let's make a method here. Actually, I probably should have done that before I changed the method body, but plot when given a line that is a vent line that isn't horizontal or vertical, let's make it return false, just to give us something to test against. I guess we can find out what it might not even need to. It is falsy. And then we can do test vent field equals vent field dot new expect test vent field dot plot vent line dot new 8008 dot to be falsy. And I actually be that now? No, okay, expecting, where did I screw that up? Vent field spec 13. Oops. Yeah, it needs one more. Close parenthesis, cool. So it's already falsy. Don't need to do anything special there. But context, when given a vent line, I guess I can kind of fix that on vent line, huh? But, you know, maybe, I wonder if the direction is going to be important. Maybe let's preserve the direction for now and have vent field handle it, and then fix it. We won't need to fix it later if that comes up. We can have vent field figure that out so that those lines are more directional, so the direction is preserved. Okay, so when given a vent line whose start x is greater than its end x, it plots correctly, and given a vent line whose start y is greater than its end y, it plots correctly. Okay, so do same as here, we do test vent field dot plot vent line dot new 8008, and then we expect test vent field dot field sub, really 80. This could be a good start for this, to equal 1, because we weren't even doing that. And then we can do a similar test down here. Let's change this to 8 and 0. Well, actually, since it's diagonal, it's not going to work anyway. So what we want this to be is 80 to 0, 0. And then we want this to be 0, 8 to 0, 0. And 0, 0 to equal 1. And it doesn't, right? We got dots. Okay. So to handle that, so we can't use the iterator, huh? I'm sure there's got to be a simple way to do that. But since nothing's coming to mind, we can do xpos equals vent line dot start x, vent line dot end x, and y pos equals vent line dot start y, vent line dot end y. And then we can do xpos dot min to xpos dot max, and ypos dot min to ypos dot max, and that passes, and it all passes. Cool. So I guess now that those are all passing, I can check out solution.rb and try to do it here. Okay, so require relative dot slash vent field.rb and vent line.rb. We got input is file.open problem input dot read dot split on new line, and then we do vent field equals vent field dot new, and then we do input dot each do line vent field dot plot vent line dot new line, and then total number of points where at least two lines overlap. Number of overlapping lines is vent field dot total overlapping points. Okay. Solution.rb 56988. That's the right answer. Okay. 1 gold star closer to finding the sleigh keys. Cool. So part 1 is done. On to part 2. Just like I thought, diagonal lines. Unfortunately, considering only horizontal and vertical lines doesn't give you the full picture. You also need to consider diagonal lines. Because of the limits of the hydrothermal vent mapping system, the lines in your list will only ever be horizontal, vertical, or a diagonal line at exactly 45 degrees. In other words, an entry like 1, 1 to 3, 3 covers points 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. An entry like 9, 7 to 7, 9 covers points 9, 7, 8, 8, 7, 9. Considering all the lines from the above example would now produce the following diagram. You still need to determine the number of points where at least two lines overlap. In the above example, this is still anywhere in the diagram with a 2 or larger, now a total of 12 points. Consider all the lines at how many points do at least two lines overlap. Okay, so that is telling me that it's going to be, I don't need to actually change much, and I think I just need to remove that line because, well, let's see. I think I can just remove that line of when it's not horizontal and vertical, and change vent field to handle that. And I think because increase 1, actually no, it won't, because we need to actually increase both numbers at the same time rather than one or the other. So we need to do, we still want to handle this, but we want to, let's see what I get. It's probably a crazy number, right? Yeah. Okay. So because of the limits in the hydrothermal vent mapping system, the lines in your list will only ever be horizontal, vertical, or a diagonal line at least 45 degrees. In other words, an entry like 1, 1 to 3, 3 covers points 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. And so we really want to take a step each time. Okay, so we really want to do is let's do a new thing here. So when given event line that is diagonal, and let's add those new tests. And I think what we can do here is def plot straight line event line and def plot diagonal line event line. Let's move this here. Oh, I can just delete that actually. Plot straight line, and then we do if event line dot start x equals event line dot end x, or event line dot start y equals event line dot end y. So if these are straight lines, we do plot diagonal line and plot horizontal line. Delete that. Okay, so plot straight line, plot diagonal line, and what we want is, given an event line that is diagonal, it plots correctly. And okay, so test event field dot plot event line dot new of that. We do 1 1 3 3. Next sample 1 and context sample 2. So 1 1 3 3. We can have a bunch of tests in here. Expect test event field dot field sub 1 1 to equal 1. Two 2 and 3 3, and it plots correctly. And what we probably want to do is something to make sure that those are the only 3 plotted. Field dot values to equal values dot count to equal 3, and let's do that again, the same whole body but with different data, because these ones are going a different direction. So 9 7 to 7 9, and then this is 9 7 8 8 and 7 9. Right, okay, and so same thing, only 3 points plotted. And if I'm going to plot horizontal line, oops, plot straight line. Straight line or diagonal line, not event line. Okay, so that's that, but that is going to be wrong after I plot the diagonal lines. So it was nice knowing you. Problem 1 answer. But let's add the diagonal. Let's say rspec, just run rspec. Cool, so we've got both of those tests failing. So let's start plotting those diagonals. What do I need to do? I probably do want to get xpos and ypos, but not in order, huh? I want to do again, I had got a comment on the first video, although YouTube seems to be hiding it from me, about a method and a Ruby array method, but I was never able to see the comment. But thank you for that. I haven't had a chance to dig into it more, but I'm sure there's a method here that can take two sets of values and iterate through them. But let's see, what's a simple way to do this? So we can do the simple case where we're going increasing like I did originally, but that becomes more complicated when we do the 9-7 to 7-9, because 9 is going down and the 7 is going up, and we want to do one or the other. What do we know about 45 degrees? So it's going to be it will be the same. We will be either adding one or subtracting one, and they'll be the same distance. So that means all I need to do is figure out the difference between math.absolute eventLine.startX minus eventLine.endX. Let's say steps equals that. So we know the number of steps, and then we just need to do steps.each do step x step equals eventLine.startX greater than eventLine.endX. If it's that, it's 1. It's not each, it's times. Otherwise, -1. And then y step equals eventLine.startY greater than eventLine.endY, 1 or -1. And then same thing, field value equals at field sub x sub y, or no, x right, so we actually want to do our own start x and start y, our own local start x and start y, because so step 0 we're actually going to do we actually don't even need to start x and start y. A plus equals 1, a equals 1, a plus equals 1, 2. So that returns that. So instead of start, let's do X and Y. They both start where the vent line starts. And then we can do X plus equals right, so step is going to be 0. So we want to do the first one. I'm getting myself all tied up here. So we can increment it afterwards. I can't really come up with a good way to do it in line in a short amount of time. So let's see, it's going to be X plus equals X step and Y plus equals Y step. And at field sub X, Y. Yeah, actually it's kind of better doing it like this so that actually this doesn't even need to be in here either. Right, at field XY, field value equals dot 1 or field value plus 1, right? So it's just going to increment the overlap. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Still wrong, absolute for math module, damn. What is the, how do I figure out the absolute value? Is that JavaScript? There's got to be a way to get the absolute value. Is it on integer? One.methods. Where's object.methods? That seems right. That seems weird. Abs2. Let's see. 45.abs2. No. 45.ab. Negative 45.abs. That's what it is. Okay, so it's not math.abs, it's just .abs. Cool. Still got dots. That's weird, but when the vent line is diagonal, sample 2 plots correctly. Well, 8 I don't think is right. Where did that come from? Vent field plot when given a vent line that is diagonal, sample 2 it plots correctly. Expect test field to equal 1. Line 27. Yeah, 8 to equal 1. So what did I do wrong here? I'm assuming we got into the diagonal processing, but we got a dot at 8. So what do we have here? Let's see what that is. Didn't even get column. Oh, right. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter where I put it. Test vent field.field 9, 7, and 10, 6. So I got that backwards, huh? If x is greater than y, or x is greater than end x, we want to do -1 and 1. Oops, -1 and 1. Right, we want to go down to it, okay? But it's telling that there's only 2 there. I'm probably off by 1 error. Test vent field. Yeah, so we're not getting that last one there, right? Because it's 9, 8, 7. So I can do steps plus 1 times, or I can do that first one. Let's just do this for now. Since we're not using the step value, it doesn't really matter that much. And test vent field, we got all of them there. Still not right. Which one? 12 is actually what we want. 12 is the correct answer now that we're plotting diagonals. So that's right. And then if we ruby solution.rb, we get 15,463. 15463. There we go. Gold star. Part 2 finished. That was fun. Had a good time figuring out these plots, and I'm sure there's a much cleaner way to do this, but I like how readable it is, except for the line 35. Adding 1 to the end there. I'm sure there's I'm sure I could have done that a little bit cleaner, but nothing came to mind, and got the problem finished in right around a little over an hour. About the same time as last week, or yesterday. So that's that. I will see you all tomorrow, I guess. Thanks for watching.